Finish him.
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'm back. Why was I away? Ask Deontay Wilder. He shut my channel down. Him and his people shut my channel down. But you know what? It's all good. It's a long story, too. We could talk about that some other time. But for now, let's get into Danny Garcia. Recently in the news, calling out Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, or Keith Thurman. Now, I know that we're all going through this pandemic across the world, and there's no telling when we'll see boxing again. I'd be surprised if there's any boxing for the remainder of the year. You know, perhaps we can just have, and this has been thrown around, perhaps we can have fights with empty arenas, which is kind of weird in my opinion, but you know, these dudes are money hungry. I can see them throwing it on pay-per-view. I can see them throwing that fight on pay-per-view. Like any of these fights, like any upcoming fights on pay-per-view, just so you have to buy it because they're going to lose mad money at the gate. But let's rewind. Danny Garcia wants Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, or Keith Thurman. You know, in my opinion, and this is a very unpopular opinion, I had Danny Garcia beating Keith Thurman. Because all I saw Keith Thurman doing was hopping on his bicycle and running around in circles around the ring. It's Danny Garcia's job to cut the ring off, right? But it is what it is. I had Danny Garcia winning that fight. I don't even like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's a fraud, a fake, a phony. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't even a Keith Thurman video. Let me rewind. Danny Garcia wants Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao, or Keith Thurman. Now, you know, before all this COVID-19 stuff started happening, you know, we were looking at Spence or Pacquiao. And I'm pretty sure Manny Pacquiao is salivating at a chance to fight Danny Garcia. You know, but Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia, right now would be the perfect time for Danny Garcia to fight Errol Spence, especially considering Errol Spence is coming off that, you know, that tragic, horrific event. And, you know, thankfully, he's good. You know, he made it through. He made it through, man. But if we're being 100, if we keep it 100 over here, Hitman Boxing, if I'm being honest, that's who I will go after first if I were Danny Garcia, because we don't know what type of shape Spence is in. We don't know where he is mentally. We can kind of see where he is physically. You know, he spends a lot of his training camp, you know, dropping weight. But that's a whole nother story. Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence, make it happen. Most of y'all want to see Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, but we can get into that in another video. You know, we not biased over here. We talk about whoever comes up. Now, we're talking about Danny versus Spence. That's a hell of a fight right now. Hell of a fight. You know, Danny Garcia is coming off that, and this fight against Ivan Redcash, where all he got was a unanimous decision. And, you know, of course, he said, you know, you fight to the level of your competition. I think that's bullshit. I don't buy that. I hate when people be saying, oh, you know, I only played as good as my competition. No. You run the competition into the ground. You hit the ground. Danny Garcia barely beat Ivan Redcash, but I'm not even a hater. I'm not even a Danny Garcia hater, man. Because to be perfectly honest with you, I hadn't beaten Keith Thurman. We could talk about that all day. We could chat about that all day, any day. All right? But Danny Garcia versus Errol Spence is a good fight. I think Danny Garcia should capitalize on that. Manny Pacquiao, big money fight. And, I mean, everyone has a puncher's chance, right? But I counted Manny Pacquiao out in the Keith Thurman fight. I didn't think he stood a chance at beating Keith Thurman, but he proved me wrong. He beat Keith Thurman, though the second half of the fight was pretty close. But he beat Keith Thurman. Danny Garcia don't got that same pop. that he used to at them smaller weight classes. He don't seem like he's taken a loss in his career, right? He's got 2 losses, one to Keith Thurman, one to Sean Porter. I feel like he's kind of like out the game. He's out of the game because he just doesn't look the same anymore. I think he knocked out Adrian Granados, right? So his last few fights, Red Cash, which was unanimous decision. Then Granados, he knocked Granados out, lost to Sean Porter. And I think he stopped Brandon Rios. I did see that fight with him and Brandon Rios. That was a pretty brutal TKO. That was pretty brutal. And then he lost to Keith Thurman. So yeah, make the Pacquiao. You know, how about all 3? You know, check this out. How about all 3 of you idiots fight each other on the same day? And just make a tournament out of it, okay? Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, and Manny Pacquiao. Just have them fight at the Barclays Center. Just make it a one-day, all-day event, okay? All these dudes got to fight each other 3 times. And the winner is undisputed at 147 because we're not counting Terence Crawford. Hitman Boxing, I'm out.